To tape it up.
Okay. What I usually like to do in the beginning, yeah. What I like to do in the beginning, I was just handed this bird. I've never seen it on the ground. What I like, I do a quick lace up. I notice on the left side the bird's got too many tail feathers. I don't know if you've ever felt it where you get a restriction and you feel like you can't find the order. It's because there's two tail feathers come out of the same hole. So again, I like to just see what it looks like in the beginning, what I've got to deal with. Okay, so this guy here, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to fix that left side where he's got too many tail feathers, and I'm going to try to give that tail a bigger appearance. Like it's going to look a little bigger by the time I'm done with it. Yeah, but I'm going to flatten it quick. So what I'm going to do with those feathers, that usually what I do with them is that where I've got something tight in the back, I'll see which feather feels more comfortable in its position, and I'll fold the other feather in the back untouched. Sometimes I even mark it with a piece of tape so I know which one I'm going to use and which one I'm going to fold. See, there's one section right there. There's another section there. Another thing I'm going to do too is I'm going to take approximately 10 feathers on each side, give it a simple crack forward. And if you look at it, what I'm doing is, I don't know if you noticed when the bird was down, the shoeing came down and kind of curved underneath, so the bird is looking, goes a little bit further back. So 10 on both sides. I'll just show you what that looks like after I'm done with it. You can see what I'm going to do once I point it towards you. Okay, see what happened to that shoeing? See the way this is sticking up, that's sticking down? Do the same on the other side.
Looking for it down.
Scissors. Want this one taped too, Brent?
But set it down.
It's a little bigger now. So what I've done, I've pulled that shoeing forward, which gives a bigger appearance to the tail because it's coming forward as opposed to coning back. And on the side profile, it makes it look flatter. And that's doing it real quick. The more you play with it, the more you can adjust the bird.
Why do we lace tails?
Support.
Support. Okay? Why else?
Make it look flat.
You're trying to make the tail look as big as you can, right? So here, would you tape a bird? Why would you tape a bird up? And when would you do that? If you're getting a bird ready for show, I'd suggest you want, depending on the bird, but you want to start taping that bird up, ideally a month before. And basically what you're trying to do is train those feathers. Now, that bird's got a baby tail, and those feathers are a lot more difficult to train and to deal with because they're a little narrower, a little softer. But when that bird was in there before, what was she doing? She was struggling and pushing too hard. Now he's flattened that tail a bit, just give her that support. So if she goes back, she's got more support from that tape, and all of a sudden she's a lot more comfortable. And so to me, when we're lacing tails, we're trying to get those tails to be nice and big, but the really important part is to try to get those birds as comfortable as we possibly can so that they're performing to their maximum. He's taping a bird. Both those guys, interestingly, have taped it from the back. I normally will do that when I'm getting birds ready for a show because sometimes there'll be a little stuff left on the tape. But if I'm training young birds, baby birds, I almost always do the tape on the front of the tail. And one of the reasons for that, I find that the tape on the front of the tail, the wings get into that tape and kind of slide off that tail. As far as putting weight on it, you mean?
It makes a difference if you put, say you put tape back here on the tail or tape on the front. It makes a big difference as far as weight.
All right, Mr. Ferber is here now, so when Danny's done, he's going to come and show us what he does. There's several things that Ben does a little bit unique, but one in particular. I don't think the effect is probably quite as dramatic on the white as it was on the dilute D-Roy as far as support is concerned. Part of that's baby tail versus non-baby tail. And part of it's the way the birds are put together as well. But if you get that shoeing together, that support, it goes back a little bit what Dominic was talking earlier. The birds just feel a lot more comfortable. Big difference between these two pigeons. We look at them. If you just look at those birds phenotypically, what's one of the big differences between those two pigeons? Height, yeah, that's one. There's one major difference in my opinion, and that's the legs. That makes that bird allow it to be comfortable. This bird's legs are back so far, they can't really ever get comfortable.